Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. It's funny how often this comes up, but today we're going to explore why people sometimes come back into our lives, after they've moved on.
It's so
It's like
true.
there's this magnetic pull, this almost invisible force drawing them back just when we least expect it.
Yeah.
So, to unravel this whole thing, we're going to be diving deep into some insights from Oprah Winfrey about personal growth and how it all ties into relationships.
Okay, great.
This is going to be interesting.
You know what I think is so fascinating about Oprah's perspective is that she really emphasizes the importance of shifting our focus.
Okay.
So instead of spending all our energy on dwelling on why someone left or, trying to figure out how to win them back,
Yeah.
she really pushes this idea of turning inward
Right.
and focusing on our own journey, our own self-improvement.
So let's break that down a bit. What does it actually look like to kind of shift that focus inward, and how does that create this so-called magnetism?
Well, I think it's about making a conscious choice to move forward, to truly invest in our own happiness, and to kind of let go of those lingering questions and past hurts.
Hmm.
And when we do that, something really interesting happens. We start to radiate a different kind of energy.
Okay.
And it's important to highlight that this is not about, playing games
Right.
or trying to manipulate anyone into coming back.
Yeah.
It's about genuine personal growth and self-discovery.
So it's almost like becoming the best version of ourselves,
Yeah.
but not for someone else, just for ourselves.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And that authenticity is what becomes so compelling. It's like a ripple effect. When we genuinely prioritize our own well-being and our own growth, it creates this positive energy that others can sense.
So I can see how that, in theory, would make someone more attractive, and I don't just mean romantically, but in all our relationships, right?
Absolutely. When we stop seeking validation from those external sources and we start to find it within ourselves, it creates this sense of confidence and self-assurance it's magnetic,
Hmm. Yeah. I think that's what Oprah's getting at when she talks about this magnetism, right?
Mhm.
It's not some kind of mystical force or a love potion.
No.
It's this reflection of our inner growth and our self-love.
It's about recognizing our own worth, embracing new experiences, and finding joy in the things that truly light us up.
Right.
It's about cultivating a sense of wholeness from within, rather than seeking it from others.
So let's say that shift takes place. Oprah mentions this really interesting thing, that sometimes the very people who walked away might start to circle back
Yeah.
when they kind of sense this change.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening there?
Well, think about it this way. When someone has been the center of our attention, and then we're no longer focused on them,
Right.
they suddenly feel that absence.
Oh, that's a good point.
The space that we once filled with them is now filled with our own growth
Right.
and our own self-love. So it creates a shift in the dynamic.
It's like we're not waiting for their validation anymore, and they notice it.
Exactly. And that's a great point. It's about recognizing that our journey is not about proving anything to anyone but ourselves.
Right.
It's about creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling to us. And that in itself can be incredibly attractive to others.
But I think it's important to mention that just because someone comes back doesn't mean they should automatically have a place in our lives again, right?
That's such an important question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
It's not about automatically opening the door just because they show up again. It's about evaluating their intentions and their actions. Are they genuinely interested in reconnecting with the person we've become? Or are they simply drawn to the quote-unquote glow-up
Right.
without acknowledging the work and the growth that led to it?
It's almost like we have to protect our peace.
Absolutely. You've done the work to heal, to let go, to build a life that reflects your values and your aspirations. And if someone's drawn back into your life because of that, it's important to make sure that they are respecting your journey, not trying to derail it.
Okay, so then how can we tell if someone is genuinely interested in us for who we are now versus just being attracted to the light that we're radiating without valuing the source of that light?
That's where it becomes crucial to pay attention to their actions.
Okay.
Are they respecting your boundaries?
Hmm.
Are they supportive of your growth?
Okay.
Are they contributing to that positive energy that you've cultivated?
Right.
Or are they trying to dim your light
Hmm.
or pull you back into those old patterns?
It's like they need to bring their own light to the table.
Yes. It's about recognizing that you are not obligated to share your light with anyone who doesn't appreciate its source
Okay.
or who isn't willing to nurture it alongside you.
And sometimes letting go even after someone returns, is like the greatest act of love
It really can be.
we can give to ourselves and them.
It's about recognizing that we're all on our own individual journeys. And
Yeah.
sometimes those journeys take us in different directions. And it's okay to cherish those memories without letting them define our present or limit our future.
That's a powerful reminder that we're all on our own paths. And it seems like there's lots of reasons why people might come back to past relationships.
Yeah.
Oprah talks about the need for closure and clarity.
Yeah.
Sometimes people come back because there are unresolved feelings, things that are left unsaid, questions that kind of linger after the relationship has ended.
It's true, and those unresolved feelings can create a sort of magnetic pull, almost drawing people back into each other's lives. And what's interesting is that that pull can be mutual.
Okay.
Both individuals might be carrying those unresolved emotions, and the return presents this opportunity to address them.
So it's not always about one person chasing the other. It's two people who are drawn to each other because of this shared need for closure.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about recognizing those shared emotional threads.
Right.
And seeing the return as a chance to untangle them, even if it means letting go of the relationship itself.
But, let's be honest. Sometimes it's not just those unresolved feelings.
Yeah.
Oprah also points out that there's this powerful emotional connection that can just linger long after a relationship ends.
Oh, human connections are incredibly complex. They're woven with shared memories and experiences.
Right.
And emotions that don't just disappear overnight.
Yeah, it's true.
So those threads can remain even if the relationship itself has ended.
It's like these invisible threads that just pull us back together.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about recognizing that sometimes those emotional connections transcend the romantic relationship. They can linger as a fondness or a sense of familiarity or even a shared history that continues to hold meaning.
It makes me think about how sometimes that pull back into a familiar relationship is just that. It's familiarity.
Yeah.
It's comfort, especially during challenging times. It's like our instinct to return to what feels safe.
Absolutely. We all crave comfort and stability, especially during times of uncertainty. But it's crucial to be mindful of those motivations.
Okay.
Are we genuinely interested in rekindling the relationship?
Yeah.
Or are we simply seeking a temporary refuge from our own struggles?
So it's like being honest with ourselves
Exactly.
about why we might be drawn back to this person.
Yeah, and it's important to recognize that true healing and growth often come from facing those challenges head on, not from seeking comfort in the familiar.
So it's about knowing if this person can truly support us or if they're just finding comfort in our progress.
And it's about recognizing that sometimes the kindest thing we can do for ourselves and for the other person is to honor that connection for what it was.
Right.
Without trying to force it back into existence.
It's like sometimes letting go is the bravest, most loving thing.
Yeah, it really can be. It's about recognizing that sometimes the healthiest path forward is to acknowledge those feelings, to understand why they're resurfacing, and to make conscious choices that align with our well-being. And sometimes that means choosing to move on, even if there's a part of us that wants to go back.
It's about making choices that align with who we are now.
Exactly. Every relationship, every encounter teaches us something profound about ourselves, about love, and about what we truly desire. And when someone returns, it's an invitation to reflect on those lessons, to see how we've grown, and to choose a path that honors that growth.
It sounds like it's not just about why they come back.
No.
It's about what we do with that return.
Precisely. We have the power to shape our own narratives, to redefine our connections, and to create a future that's filled with authenticity and joy and relationships that truly nourish our soul.
Wow, that's powerful. There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a quick break and then come back and talk about some key takeaways for our listeners.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's definitely a complex topic. Lots of layers.
So we've really kind of unpacked some of the nuances of why someone might return. But let's talk about what our listeners can take away from all of this.
Yeah.
If someone thinking about someone from their past, what are some things they should keep in mind?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say remember that personal growth, it's incredibly magnetic. When we focus on our own happiness, well-being, self-discovery, it just creates this positive energy that other people can sense.
It's not about attracting them back, though, right?
Yeah.
It's about becoming the best version of ourselves for ourselves.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so personal growth is key. What else?
It's crucial to set boundaries.
Okay.
And to protect the peace that you've worked so hard to create. Just because someone returns doesn't automatically mean they deserve to be back in your life.
Right. We shouldn't just give them a free pass because they've
Yeah,
reappeared.
exactly. We need to really evaluate their intentions and their actions. Are they really honoring our growth
Okay.
and respecting the boundaries that we've established?
So I guess we have to ask ourselves some tough questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask yourself, is this person adding to my life, or are they potentially taking away from it?
That makes a lot of sense. Is
Yeah.
there anything else?
Yeah. Embrace closure and clarity.
Okay.
If someone comes back, and you're open to it, use it as an opportunity for healing and understanding. Have those honest conversations.
Yeah.
Express any lingering feelings, try to gain closure, even if it doesn't lead to getting back together.
Right.
It can be tough, but those conversations can be transformative.
They can. And I think a lot of people get stuck on the fact that closure means reconciliation.
Right, exactly. Sometimes it's just about gaining a sense of peace.
Yeah, about the past. And I think it's also really important to mention that sometimes letting go is the best thing.
It can be, yeah. And finally, and I think this is really the most important, remember that you have the power to choose. You are not obligated to rekindle a relationship simply because someone has returned. Trust your intuition, honor your growth, and make choices that really align with your well-being and your vision for the future.
So we get to decide.
Yes.
We have the power.
It's about understanding our worth
Okay.
and choosing connections that uplift us, inspire us, and support us on that journey of personal growth.
It sounds like understanding why people come back is just one piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
It's really more about us,
Yeah, knowing ourselves.
trusting our gut,
Yeah.
making choices that align with our own growth.
Exactly. It's about taking all of these insights, reflecting on our own experiences, and using that wisdom to navigate these complex situations.
This has been a fascinating deep dive, and I'm sure our listeners have so much to think about. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yes, I think it's important to remember that this journey of self-discovery and personal growth, it's ongoing. So embrace the lessons, celebrate the victories, and just keep moving forward with courage and compassion and an open heart.
That's beautiful. And for our listeners who are ready to keep thinking about all of this, we have a question for you. What lessons have you learned from your past relationships, and how are those lessons shaping the connections you choose today?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.
It really is. And it gives us so much power, to choose what we want. It's funny, as we've been talking, I've realized that there's this message out there
Yeah.
that if someone comes back, it's like we've won,
Oh, yeah.
especially romantically. Like we've won them back.
Get a prize.
You won.
And that somehow validates us.
Oh, for sure. You see it all the time, like in movies and TV.
Yeah.
Someone's fighting to get the love of their life back.
Yeah.
And we get this idea that that's the ultimate goal.
But it seems like what we've been talking about today is totally different.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not about winning anyone back.
No.
It's about us. It's about focusing on our own personal growth, well-being, trusting that the right people will be drawn to that.
It's so much more empowering, I think.
It is. It really shifts the focus from external validation to internal fulfillment.
We don't have to prove ourselves to anyone.
Exactly. Our worth isn't determined by someone else's decision
Yeah.
to choose us or to return to us.
We can just focus on being the best versions of ourselves.
Exactly. And it's also about recognizing that sometimes letting go, even if it means letting go of someone we care about, that can be the most loving and courageous act we can do.
It's about letting go of control, right?
Yes.
Of the situation.
Trusting that whatever is meant to be will unfold.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that sometimes the best growth happens when we surrender
Absolutely.
instead of trying to force things.
Yeah. It's about having faith that the universe has a plan for us, even if we can't see it right now.
It's like even if someone walks away, comes back, and then walks away again, that doesn't mean anything about us.
No, not at all.
It doesn't change our worth.
It just means our paths are going in different directions.
Right.
For now.
Honoring those paths and where they're taking us.
Exactly.
That's such a nice way to look at it. Okay, so to wrap up this amazing deep dive,
Yes.
I want to go over some key takeaways for our listeners.
That's great.
First, personal growth is magnetic. When we invest in ourselves, other people feel that energy.
It's about being the best we can be, not for anyone else, but for us.
And setting boundaries. Just because someone comes back doesn't mean they get a free pass back into our lives.
We have to make sure they're respecting us and adding to our lives, not taking away from them.
And if someone does come back and you're open to it, See it as a chance to heal, to find clarity, and to maybe get some closure.
Those conversations, even if they're hard, can really help us heal.
And last but not least, trust your gut. Make choices that feel good for you and for the future you want.
You have the power to build a life full of love, joy, and amazing relationships, no matter what happens with people from your past.
What a beautiful message. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. It's been such an inspiring conversation.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time to explore even more of life's mysteries.